What's up, everybody? Pretty cool episode today. Probably one of my all-time favorites. Mostly because we nerd out on cool stuff like first responder health and safety, and it was a pretty cool episode. I went to Waukee, my neighboring town. Sat down with Assistant Chief Tomme Tysdale, an old friend. Known that guy for a long time. Super good conversation. Loved talking to him. First thing we did when I walked into that place is he gave me a tour of their massive 90,000 plus square foot public safety facility that they've only been in for probably 3 weeks now. It's really got that new place smell to it. Massive. As we walked through, he kind of shared why they did the things they did. A lot of it forward thinking, right? So why the doors open the way they do, why the rooms are insulated the way they are, the way the locker rooms were built. All built, most of it, with input. This is going to be weird. Input from the people that actually do the job, the people that have to live there every day. Got to have a lot of input on how that place was designed, and I think that that's awesome. Been around a long time, and a lot of older public safety buildings certainly weren't, I don't think, built with the future in mind. This one was, and it's really impressive. So we did that, and we talked about how that building came about, and then we talked about just everyday responder stuff, cancer mitigation in the fire service. How are they mitigating their cancer risk for their employees? We talked about the Portland schedule, which is what they're trialing with the idea of getting the most out of us as first responders when it comes to rest and recovery. What else did we talk about? We talked about how they built the culture around Waukee, man. And if you ask anybody out there right now, all they talk about is how good the culture is there, and how that was built from the ground up, from their current fire chief on down, and how they practice that in their everyday. Like, it's just not lip service. We didn't sit there and he didn't blow sunshine up my butt, man. Like, it was real, genuine conversation about responders and their families and their quality of life at the station and at home, and how they staff their stations and what they're doing for their future, and really with the mind of they want you there as an employee, and they want to keep you there as an employee. Certainly goes right along with the shit I've been talking about. What do employees want? Good employees want. They want to be paid well. They want good benefits, and they want to be treated good. This in those three principles, in my opinion, are what you need to retain good, high-performing workers, people that want to come to their job, and people that want to stay on their department. And it was just good open conversation, man. Probably one of my favorites of all time. So I'm not going to keep talking about it. I'm going to let you listen to it. So with that said, here's Tomme Tysdale talking about the culture that he and the city, his fire chief and the city, have built in Waukee. Have fun with this one. Work hard. Be kind. Bye. Hey, we kind of casually move into this thing. I never tell anybody I want to hit the record button because I like to have just casual conversation before. But if we do hear the jackhammer in the background right there, I think I think my editing software will take that out. So
we got to do it again. We do it again.
Tomme Tysdale, what's your official title here?
Deputy Fire Chief.
Deputy Fire, and we're at Waukee, we can say that out loud.
Taj Mahal, yeah.
The new public safety station. And I got to tell people, all three listeners out there, this place is amazing. Like, it is not just because it smells new.
It does smell new.
But I just got the tour. I didn't know that we would evolve into this kind of facility, Tommy. And I mean, we as in public safety.
Yeah.
Your city, sure. Walk us through the history of this, not this place, but of your service.
So Waukee's obviously been around a long time. It was a veteran community for years and years and years. Back in '99, they built a public safety facility, it was a public safety facility on LA Grant and what came to be known as University. University was still gravel all the way to West Des Moines. There was nothing connecting Waukee and West Des Moines. In fact, when they built that building, the only thing you could see is the high school. You couldn't even see the city of Waukee. And everybody thought, well, it's out in the middle of nowhere. This is what I'm hearing. Of course, I wasn't here at that point in time.
Sure.
So it was a police station and a fire station. The fire station was built for volunteers. That's what it was. And then we very quickly, the city today adds 7 people per day to our population. That's what our average is. The city takes really good care of us, and we've just progressed really quickly with moving to part-time staff and a couple full-time, and then some overnight paid part-time with 24-hour full-time, and then it really turned into where we made the shift from a part-time department with full-timers to a full-time department with part-timers. And we still very much rely on our part-time staff. So we knew with the city growing at the exponential rate that it was growing, we had to add a new facility. Police department was out of space. Fire department was literally out. Like, we had nothing left. We were encroaching on the police department side. So what they did was they said, all right, it's time to build a new public safety building. What are we going to do? So we started doing some research. We started doing some drive times for a project that I did for a class. I did some drive time studies to calculate the best potential location for a station based on future growth. And it was right up in this area, which used to be T Avenue and what is now Douglas. 284th, I think, was the actual name. So they picked this 30-acre plot a long time ago. It was probably about 7 years ago that they decided to do this. And then we just went to the drawing board. We said, all right, we need to build a new public safety facility. Both the police department and fire department are out of space. So how do we create a police department that is functional and allows for future growth, so we don't have to build again? Okay, sorry, there's a call. So we built this police department with the thought of, we only have this many officers today, but what are we gonna have in 30 years, right? We wanna be very cautious with the taxpayer dollar. And then when we talked about the fire side, we said, okay, we know we need more administrators. We know we need to spread out. How can we make this the best home for our firefighters? Because that's what they are. They're here for a third of their lives. Let's try to make this the best possible place for them. Let's try to get as much input from them as we can, bounce ideas off them, and really get ideas on not what does administration want, but what does the people want. And when we started talking to them, we got a lot of ideas, a lot of really good ideas and a lot of just wild ideas,
Sure.
like running tracks on the roof and aquariums and walls and a lot of things that I think would have been really cool. But architecturally it just didn't work out, or it just didn't make it past the sniff test. There was a lot of decisions that were made maybe without as much input from line staff as I think maybe we would have wanted, but I think they're fairly happy with what they have today. So we started staffing this building in July 1 is when staffing started here. Admin moved in the week before. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it won't.
Sure
be
is.
long.
It reminds me a lot of when Station 19 was built.
Yep.
Out of the middle of nowhere. And, you know, and I don't know the LA Grant building right now, the PD was there before they came out here too, right? Like, you guys shared that thing. So what's there now? What are they doing with it now?
So that space is vacant. Soon another city department will move into that.
Yeah.
There's some space that the city leases for a department that they don't want to lease anymore. So they're going to do the city manager or the city administrator who takes really great care of us. We'll get into that at some point on
Yeah, sure.
his thought process, but he flat out said right at the beginning, there will be no haves and have-nots. So we're going to renovate that building. In fact, it was approved to go to the architects on Monday to do a renovation on the fire side to try to make it as close to this as possible, to try to bring some of the amenities that are here to
Going to update it.
Yep, better weight room, individual sleeping quarters, a few things that are just, it's needed, right? That building was built in 99. It was not built for 24-hour staff.
I used to run ambulance calls just right next door to Dallas County.
Yeah.
In 2008, as late as 2008. And I remember when we were dual response with Waukee.
Mm-hmm.
And so 9 years after that building was built, we were still dual responding with you guys. So my question is, at what staffing from 1999 to when did it go full time? When we stopped, I think we stopped dual. I think I was there when we stopped dual responding with you.
It would have been about that time.
So that would have been like 2010 is probably when I left ish, right around in there.
We did. So I started with the city in 2007, and it was volunteer. It may have been like somewhat compensated, but there was no staffing in house except for 2 or 3 full-time staff.
Yeah,
they just work during the day, Monday through Friday, right? And then we transitioned to, all right, now we're going to pay some staff to work during the day, during the week, to work with these full-timers so we can have an ambulance. And I think that's where it kind of started.
Yeah.
And then there was a significant fire where the media got involved and some neighbors were upset. And our response times were perfectly acceptable, but it got some news media, and the city's like, you know what, let's fix this problem now. So they started doing part-time, 24-hour part-time staff. We got a SAFER grant to hire 3 full-timers, 3 more full-timers. Chief Robinson's been here for 30 years in various capacities. There was a full-time chief for a little while there before I started that left. And then he was hired as the full-time chief in 2008-ish.
Yeah, I remember when that.
Yep. And from there, we've just continued to add people every year.
Because when we would dual respond during the day here in Waukee, and you're right, like the whole response over here was nothing, and then all of a sudden you got into Waukee, right? Well, now with your urban sprawl, we're not too far out of Adel.
No.
When we're hitting some Waukee landmarks. But we would joke sometimes. We'd get on the way and be like, "Well, I wonder if Clint's working today."
Yep.
And we kind of get on down the road, and after about a certain amount of time, we were like, "Oh, he ain't there. We got to go."
Yeah,
Right? We got to get going. Or 90% of the time, we would get canceled by the time we ever left, basically Adel city limits. And that was always one guy. Like I would rarely see anybody but Clint on a 911 call in Waukee back in those days. And so now, obviously, with your population growth, you've generated more tax revenue. I assume that's how it works.
Yeah.
But in order to do what you've done, your city, you have to have 100% complete buy-in from the people that are signing those.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That budget.
Yep.
From the city administrator to the city planner to the city attorney to your city council, you have to have 100% buy-in.
Yep.
It seems from the outside looking in that they are very public safety. Pro-public safety.
Yep.
True?
Yeah, they take great care of us.
Yeah.
You have a fire chief who's been here for 30 years. He built a lot of political capital. He doesn't ask for things that we don't need. He's when he asks for something, typically the council understands why he's asking, because he's only asking for things that we actually need.
And we've all come from places where the people doing the actual work are asking for things that have never done the work.
Right.
And the people that have never done the work sometimes think they have a better idea of how things work than the people doing the work. Like we've all came from those services before. Clearly, this is not one of them where they are trusting the experts in this deal, where you guys are the experts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when you guys were designing this building, just keep in mind, we need to talk about your when you guys first started staffing full-time, were you guys doing 24/48 standard issue?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And you guys are now doing what they call the Portland schedule.
Yep.
You have never done anything different?
Nope.
So went from 24/48 for a long time, culture of that.
Yeah. Since 2000, probably 2008 probably is when we started 24/48.
How did you come up with the Portland schedule, and who flips the switch on that thing and says, listen, we need to try this thing?
All right. So for those who aren't aware, the Portland schedule is work 24 or work a day, off 3 days.
Yep.
Work 2 days, off 3 days.
Right.
The other big schedules in this area are the California, where you're 24 on, or 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off, 4 off.
Yep.
Right.
That's what Western Wind Fire does that.
Correct. And then there's the 4896 that a lot of places that went to: Polk City, Windsor Heights,
Johnston,
Norwalk, Johnson Grimes.
Yep.
They all do the 4896. Our staff has brought up multiple times, hey, let's talk about a 4896. We want the 4 days off. All right, like I get it. I like days off too.
Yeah.
But those people who want to do that, we encourage them to talk to everybody else and what's the buy-in, right? Like this is not an administration thing. It costs me as a city nothing. I lose nothing monetarily by going to a 4896.
You don't have to hire a whole nother platoon?
No, because it's still three platoons. The 2472, which is the cat's meow, That's where I have to hire a whole other platoon or a whole other shift, essentially.
So I listened to a guy. I don't remember his name. He's he's got a British accent, English accent, or whatever. Behind the Shield podcast.
Yeah.
He was a former firefighter in Florida, and he's a huge proponent of that 24/72.
Oh yeah.
Because it reduces fatigue, burnout, all that kind of stuff. And then when you tack on like mandatory overtime, he's a big let's not do that. And so the reason I bring this up is because my only knowledge of the 24/72 were there's some Florida services, some busy Floridian services that are moving to that. And from what he relays through his podcast and talking to those people in health and wellness is that it's a game changer.
Sure.
Like it really is.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But that from an administrator perspective, I have to hire another shift.
Sure.
From a line person's perspective, you're now working 500 less hours a year. So your wage actually goes down. You're probably not going to hit overtime. You're going to probably lose 15 or 20 grand. That's ballparking. I'd have to actually.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, sure.
Less hours, less pay, right?
Yeah.
So, if I was on the line, 24/72 would be awesome. I would sell that all day. But from an administrator perspective, when we get to spend on our employees, it's $150,000 a year to hire a firefighter full time with benefits.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Ballparking, and that's an expense.
Which, mind you, we should talk about later, is great. Yeah. That is a great number
for sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, our staff gets paid really well to do great things, right? We expect great things out of them. They give us great things, but we also understand that life happens outside of here. So
sure.
The 24/72. So back to the original question, 24/72 is great. I don't see it coming to the Metro anytime soon. So Portland, one of the guys, they always wanted to try a 48/96, a few of them, but they could never get enough buy-in, especially from the old salty guys. That's really who you got to get.
48 hours, long time to be your job.
Oh Lord! And if you didn't like your coworkers, that would suck.
But even logistically, that second day, if that first day you just got hammered, we'll talk about that in a little bit too. I think it sounds like your guys do a real good job of covering each other if they do get beat up a little bit.
Right.
But 48 hours is just a long time.
It is a long time. And they'll tell you, so this Portland, they could never get by-in with the 48/96. And the Portland schedule originates out of Portland. Now Portland has 30 some stations. They have, it's huge. And all the information, our crew got all the information. They saw it on Facebook or they saw it somewhere. I don't even know where they saw it. And they're they started talking to people and man, there was just a wave. Everybody was like, let's try it. I did the math shags out. There's no, it doesn't cost the city anything, right? From a monetary perspective, we worry about productivity and stuff like that, obviously. But we sat down, we did the math, we let the crews talk through it and work through it, and then we sent out basically a questionnaire that said, "What questions do you have for an admin? If you were to do this or try this, what questions you have?" And the questions were, "What time would we have to get up in the morning?" And on the second day, and what are the expectations for the second day? And can we? They didn't ask specifically, but really they were looking for,
can we rest and recover?
Sure. And so we answered all those questions. We answered them very frankly in the fact that our expectations aren't any different for you. I don't typically give the lieutenants and the crews, the chiefs don't give them a to-do list every day. The lieutenants manage their people. We hire good people to manage people and to lead people. So that's what we do. So we tell them they have to get this much training or this much done this week. If their crew gets just crushed the night before, then it's okay if they rest. That's their job. But if they sleep the whole night before, it should be fairly a decent new day, right?
Right.
But nobody's micromanaging that. I'm not watching to see what they're doing. We did tell them, you saw the day room and the big recliners. We did tell them if you're tired, we don't want you sitting in the recliners sleeping all day. If you need to sleep, go to bed and actually.
Yeah, sure.
We have a lot of part-time staff that come here from other departments. We've got a guy from Des Moines who comes, and he's at Station 4 and he gets gassed all the time. And honestly, there's some days where he goes in and we just let him sleep for an hour, because if he gets some rest now, otherwise the alternative is he calls in sick.
Sure.
Which doesn't work.
Sure.
So the schedule so far, we answered all these questions. We sent a survey out with some pretty specific rules, and it was just to protect everybody. It was, okay, if we start this test, because that's all we're doing as a trial, we're going to start it on this date. It has to have this percentage of the people that say, I want to try it. And then there was 2 exit dates. So if enough people are saying, nope, I don't like this, we have an eject button we can pull and go right back to the 24/48s.
How many people have to not buy into it before you go back? You just can't have 1 or 2, right?
No, I think it was like a couple of people that were interested in trying it change. I would have to go back and look at my notes, but it was a lower number of people who could be like, you know what, this doesn't work. Pull the eject handle.
Okay.
So we have 2 outs for that. We've passed the first one. We're coming up on the second one now, and I don't anticipate that changing. And then the end date, we'll do another final vote. Now, keep in mind we're adding a bunch of people. If this was the worst possible time to test a schedule, like this is the hardest potential time that our department will ever face because of growth, because of splitting stations, because of hiring a bunch of people. Like it is chaos some days, just trying to get stuff handled. Yeah. So throwing this in now was a very difficult decision, but we thought, you know what, if we can make it work during the hardest possible time, then this is the time to do it. It was against a couple of people's thoughts, but that they still voted to try it. And the final vote will be, I think, in September to take it over, make it permanent in October. Everybody I've talked to says that the 48 hours writes the check for the third day off. The third day off is the game changer all day.
Yeah.
So
that was the guy from Florida's big, and it really was my big bugaboo too. Like I did 24/48s for over a decade.
Yeah.
And you just needed a third, like a lot of times you needed that third day.
Yep.
Like obviously your first day off is a bag of garbage. Even if you did sleep, it was crappy station sleep, right? Like, but you may feel good enough that you didn't have to, bag up your whole day. Like you could probably get by. But then there's obviously those days where you have to go home and go back to bed.
Right.
Or if you don't, it's a miserable existence, right? And then that second day, you're like, man, I kind of feel pretty good. Or worse, you get that sleeping version, right, on day one where you're like, man, it's 10 o'clock. I'm wide awake. This sucks. And
I work weekend package for a long time.
I know. And if I told everybody that's listening right now how you ground through that schedule, like even to me, it makes me hurt. Yeah. Like I'm getting that fatigue wash right now over me just thinking about your schedule. But you get that second day and you're like, I don't feel great, but I don't feel bad. And then bam, you're right back at work.
Right back at work, starting over.
Right. And I get it, like tradition and financially and I 100%. But there's so much out there now that there's so much research, there's so much data about performance and rest and things and making us better versions. I come from a culture, we kind of snickered about this earlier, where you had to be up all day looking busy.
Yep.
That way, if Mr. Joe taxpayer walked in and wanted a tour of your station, they didn't see you slobbering all over yourself in the day chair, which I totally agree with.
Sure.
But how am I being productive by pretending to be busy just because my assistant chief walked by and I needed to make it look like I was up doing something? Or if I could just, like, so you're going to work 2 days in a row, like your first day, you could very well justify, I need to start preparing for day 2.
Sure. Yeah.
So I come to work, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to go, I'm fired up. This is a great place to work. Everybody loves life. I drank coffee on the way here and it's a perfect day. But we're getting late in the afternoon and I got a day 2 coming up. Maybe I need to start thinking about, recovering for that, where back in the day it was, you were just getting warmed up. Like you mean, like they gave 2, we want you up all day. And then, man, if you run calls all night, that's just part of it. We don't pay you to be comfortable. I've gotten told that by administrators before. And, kind of back then, maybe I kind of get it.
Sure.
If you look at I've worked for 2 county services and I've worked for 1 city service.
Yep.
The city service dominated as far as financially and culturally and whatever. County services rarely have enough money to do anything cool, right? And there's a lot of tradition with county services too, where, right? And people get real comfortable in county services and they've been there a very, very long time and they're not interested in saunas and rest and recovery and quiet room.
Right.
And they've been getting their butt beat for a very, very long time.
Yep.
And then you get somebody that's new in and it says, hey, listen, we could do this real different. We could do it to benefit you as the frontline worker and get more rest and recovery and be better at your job. Yep. And a lot of those older services, they just don't want to hear it. They're like, and even those
change, Jason.
Even the county supervisors are like, they get real stingy when they think their tax dollars are going to you taking a nap.
Yep.
Right. And I kind of buy it. Sure. But I've always said, I don't get paid for what I do, man. I get paid for what I'm capable of.
Sure.
And at 2 a.m.
Right.
Right. With your family member.
Yeah.
I want that guy or that girl who's ever come into my house to be in the best capacity that they can be in. Right. And if that means rested, perfect. If that means they saunaed, great. If that means they got a workout in, perfect.
Yep. But let's be clear, people aren't sleeping here all day.
No. I
Very
understand.
clear, like,
I understand
people
that.
are like getting here and then sleeping all day.
No, I get it. Like I've seen that a lot. Like that's the other thing about those county services. Sometimes, man, if you don't ask, we ain't gonna tell.
Yeah, that's right.
Type of thing, right? And everybody's got like historically, myself included, we all had other jobs.
Right.
Right. Like EMS doesn't pay what it pays now.
Right.
And that's one of the great things that I've seen in the last probably 5 years is how much better our profession has paid people. And maybe you can get by without that, second job. But I remember I would come to, like, I'd work my 24 in West Des Moines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd go right to a 24 in Knoxville or a 12 in Knoxville.
Yep.
And I just had my ass beat. So I would check in the helicopter, peace out for a couple hours and go to bed too, right? But it was one of those things that really wasn't, it wasn't encouraged.
Right.
Like we do now.
Right.
Like we really encourage, I think, in our profession, public safety, health and wellness.
I think some places do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's talk about the design of this building.
Yeah.
You really designed, it seems to me, like just taking the tour, and I'm not an expert when it comes to facilities.
Yep.
Do you know what the square footage of this place?
92,000 square feet.
That's a Microsoft plant, really. It is.
It is big,
really.
but that is a huge portion of that is the police department, and they
I understand. Yes. When I pulled into here, when I came down, it was blocked by corn or ag fields or whatever, and then I got in.
Did you say ag fields?
Yeah, ag fields, right?
Oh, ag. I said egg. I'm like,
oh no. We don't have any of those around here.
You are on painkillers, aren't you?
No, I've been off of all those for weeks. I'm all natural right now, buddy. Turmeric. I take some turmeric.
Gotcha.
Off of recommendation. Here's a side note. It has to be blended with black pepper. So when you chew the gummies, you basically taste black pepper.
Gotcha.
Anecdotal. I don't think it's, I'm going to stick with it. I don't think it's not the game changer I hoped it was.
Of course not. You'd see a lot of people hitting turmeric if that was the case.
Right. But I was like, listen, I'm open-minded. I'll listen. I don't know it all. Nah, I don't think so, but I try.
Yeah, well.
But anyway, 92,000 square feet.
Yep.
Would you say $62 million?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Huge investment.
Yeah.
But not really just an investment in facility. It's an investment in people.
Yeah.
And so we took this tour, you and I, and the newest station I ever worked in was Station 19. Mm-hmm. Real nice facility. Mm-hmm. It was built at the very time, very progressive.
Yep.
This is a whole new level.
Yep.
So as we're walking through, I don't know how many times you saw my jaw drop, but I was like, your doors open sideways, which is huge to me, difference. You have unisex locker rooms, but separate male-female bathrooms, individual.
So yeah, just individual. They're not sexed at all. They're just
individual, right?
Yeah, like, so individual showers,
Let me talk about the sleep rooms real quick.
Yep.
Individual rooms.
Yep.
And so we came from bunk rooms.
Yep.
Like, right, even anywhere. Dallas County was bunk rooms. West Des Moines, all their fire guys bunk rooms. Man, if you got somebody on bypass, CPAP.
That was one of the asks that when we
at night, man, that got real weird.
Pipe it into the walls. They wanted it. They wanted it central vac, basically.
Yeah, right.
But we didn't do that. So yeah, they're double decked to the ceiling, double insulated. They're quiet, queen size beds because our owner's rep said, you know what, queen size beds are just cheaper in the long run than.
Oh, really?
So all right.
Individual thermostats. Lighting.
Yep.
Dim lighting, bright lighting.
Yep. They can adjust
multiple lighting.
0 to 100%. Then we have the station alerting system here, so it's the slow ramping wake up that's supposed to be better for you. But
because in the event that they get to sleep through the night, we want good quality sleep.
Correct. And if you're on the engine or if you're on the ladder and the ambulance is going somewhere, you shouldn't be bothered. That's not your job for the night. So they don't get woke up.
That's a great question. So your individual paging.
Yep.
So you don't. So if you're ambulance personnel. Your ladder truck has to go out to assist the other thing.
Yep.
They won't hear that page. Mm-mm. They will own. So is there?
They have the option. There's a board essentially where they select what they want to hear overnight.
Okay. So they don't have to hear the other station for one, but they also don't have to hear the same apparatus in the same station.
Correct.
I think that's a kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's the other station will have that when we do the remodel, and that station's very busy. That ambulance up until we did this split was probably on the west side. It was probably the third or fourth busiest ambulance in the metro. One station running. I mean, we ran 3,500 calls last fiscal year, and it was one station, one ambulance.
Those are EMS calls?
No, total. I mean, that includes fire, but
Fire alarms and all that kind of stuff.
EMS is 79%.
Yeah, sure. Out of that, did when you guys got out here, did that take some of the workload off that? Because if you're going off GPS location, this isn't real close to anything.
Really isn't. We estimated 25%. It's less than that right now. We're still working through some, like, everything's AVL based, right? So you're looking at mapping and stuff like that. And like Douglas is set to, it goes 25 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, 25. So it doesn't recommend as much on Douglas that we want to. The roundabout where the 5-way used to be is 30 miles an hour. So we're going to knock that down so it's only 15 miles an hour. So when an incident comes out, those recommendations are actually pulling what's closest is what we want.
So your intuitive GPS system that picks an apparatus isn't just going off of distance. It's going off
speed limits.
Yes.
Speed limits, speed, if the vehicle is in the station or out of the station, because there's a delay if they're in station. So if they're marked in station, it knows that to add, depending on time of day, 1 minute or 2 minutes, because that's how long it takes to get to the truck.
Sure.
Versus the truck that's out on the street. So
yeah. So if you're coming back, if this truck's coming back from Methodist West and somewhere in the city is another call, they very well could get pulled to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're closest.
We've actually been pulled into Windsor Heights coming back from downtown.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah, well, then that makes total sense too. Like that's
the closest appropriate apparatus.
Yeah. Right. We were doing that in West Des Moines a long time too. And we had the ability to jump. Like if we were coming back from the hospital and Station 21 got a trip north of the interstate, we would just get on the radio and be like, listen, we can do this.
Right.
Like makes more sense. Right. Let's talk about the sauna.
Yeah. I don't really know how the sauna came to play. It was tossed out early by, I don't know if it was the fire department or the architects. There is some data out there that says that maybe after a fire it's good for detox. There's a lot more data out there about cardiovascular health.
Yeah, that's
it was just one of those things that honestly we thought was going to get cut, and it stayed in, and so far everybody's pretty happy with it. It's had some bugs. I mean, we've only been here 3 weeks, so it's had some bugs. We're still working out, trying to get it to work right, but so far seems like they're enjoying it.
And that was 100% buy-in. That was like.
Yeah, council's like, yeah.
You didn't try to like slip this under like a congressional bill or anything, right? You were just like,
no, that's not typically
we're going to be very forthright with you. We would like a sauna.
Yeah, it ended up in the plans and it just never got cut. And police department can use it. We can use it.
Yeah, sure.
It's there 24 hours a day. Our staff can use the weight room, and it's a really nice facility. They can use it whenever they want.
One thing I did notice that gym is number one is phenomenal. Like it's pretty state of the art. But it's centrally located between the two.
Correct. Yep.
Adjoining buildings, basically. So your PD is and you are sharing that.
Yep. Yeah.
And
cops can work out at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever the police chief has said they can do. They have access 24 hours a day as well. So
yeah, sure.
Whereas the old facility, the way the gym was laid out, it was actually right outside bedrooms, and it was just you couldn't do that. So.
And you come in on your off day, use your gym, it's a gym membership type of thing. Like you're just like any other station. Clive also has a sauna.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they got it passed through their city budget. I think their association probably paid for it or whatever. But that was where that I had first heard that I just thought they were doing it for like employee wellness, right? Like we just want our employees to be happy and healthy. Mm-hmm. Here, there's a lot of data that supports the sauna use is one of those things. I had no idea that there was a I don't know whether it's anecdotal or not, maybe a detox from the carcinogens.
Yeah, I've heard both. I've heard that it opens your pores and then you sweat them out, but then I've also heard that it opens your pores, and so
let's segue into that too. I want to talk about cancer in the fire service.
Sure,
a little bit. It mostly because of recent events, but it always has. The question I've always had in my mind is why do certain services have such a higher incidence of cancers, presumed cancers, and others don't? I worked in West Des Moines for over a decade, and I don't know, and if there was somebody, I apologize for not remembering that, but I don't know of anybody that had a presumed cancer or a terminal cancer because of the fire service. But we all know that our Metro, God bless them, our Metro service, Des Moines Fire, that has had a bunch, a lot, including my best friend.
Yep.
What has your service's history been with that, if any of them, and why do you think there's a difference?
Well,
and what are you guys doing for mitigation measures?
I can't speak for sure. I've only been here 18 years, so I don't know what happened before that, but I can't think of any significant cancers or anything like that for Waukee. So I think there's a couple different things to look at. One is volume, right? Des Moines runs a lot more actual fires than we have, by far.
In a lot of older buildings that have a lot more carcinogen, probably combustible stuff.
That could be arguable, right? Because older buildings are more natural, essentially, like regular wood, no crap in it, less plastics.
Yeah, sure.
It could go either way.
Yeah, that makes
depends on
sense.
what's in the building, right?
Yeah.
So I think Des Moines has that not going for them. From a mitigation standpoint, we started a few years ago with a very stern policy. Part of it is also a mentality thing, an old school way of doing things. I can tell you still today that I fail at putting on a mask when I get there first to go in and look around, because my habit is that's just what I do, and that's not right. That's against. I shouldn't be doing that at all.
Sure.
It's not a good example for people. I've been called on by my staff before.
As you should.
Yeah, absolutely. I've that's what we do, and this is the world that we live in, and I need to adapt a little bit. But part of it is if the old guys have always done it that way. And you want to fit in, you just keep doing it that way. So it could be a little bit of a mentality, a culture thing, if you will. From a decon standpoint, we hose off on the scene. We come back, we immediately wash our gear when it's possible. We don't buy 2 sets of gear.
I was just going to ask you, do you alternate gear?
No, we don't.
I think West Des Moines does. Don't quote me on that. I think West Des Moines has the ability to do that.
Gear is about a $4,000 to $5,000 investment
per
person.
Okay.
I'd like to get to the point now that we have space and we're spreading out. My goal is to put a couple of old sets in each station so that if you are washing your gear while you're on duty, you have something to jump into that's close to your size. At least it'll fit. It'll make sure that you're safe. I'd love to get to where we buy you a new set and then you keep your old set. It's just we just haven't got there yet. It's an expense.
Yeah, sure.
So we do a full decon we have hoses in the garden hoses in the truck and brushes to brush all the crap off, and we have wipes to get the high absorption areas, which would be your neck area, your groin. Those are the 2 highest areas of absorption from a cancer standpoint.
Okay.
So we do wipe downs there, and then we come back and the goal is to get people in the showers as quick as possible. We want to be operationally ready at the same time, though.
Sure.
We do have limited resources in Waukee. Unlike some cities to our east that have lots of neighbors all the way around them, we don't have that ability. We only have neighbors to the east. So we have nothing coming from the west in a quick manner.
Yeah, because your closest city is my town, Adel, and they're volunteer only.
Correct.
Great dudes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And men and women, but they're volunteer service.
Right.
And so response time is delayed.
Yep. And I should be clear, anytime we do have a response inside Waukee or anywhere in Westcon, we do look at all those services to see if they're closest. So same AVL network, same information. There's just delays built in for a volunteer station.
Oh, sure.
To allow that response.
And rightfully so.
So all of that is built in. So if they are the closest, they get pulled. So
yeah. Do you guys do any wellness testing every year? Like, do you offer cancer screenings to your employees? Do you offer that kind of stuff? What do you do to encourage that?
So from a overall wellness perspective, we do, when you're hired, you get a physical. When you do, you get a medical physical at an OCMed place. We like to say a year, but it's more like a year and a half to 2 years when you get that.
Okay.
It's pretty much every 18 months or every 2 years. And then we do the mandatory mental health check-ins, where everybody in the organization has to check in with a provider. And that's actually, a lot of places are doing that. But the reason that I've heard the best, and I'll slaughter the way that he said this, was Chief Garcia and Clive. If your brother's going to do it and everybody else is doing it, nobody knows who actually has the problem, right? Or it helps alleviate that. If you want to talk to somebody, but you don't want to be viewed as talking to somebody, if everybody's going, now nobody has a problem. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, I think I see what you're saying on that.
Yeah. If everybody's going to talk to, if no matter what, everybody has to.
Out of 10 people, if only one person is going, you know exactly who is perceived to have some sort of issue.
Correct.
But if we're all doing it,
fire chief down, everybody.
Then it's all cloaked. We don't have to worry about singling somebody out.
And we've had some people who are who thought it was going to be a waste of time. And we do it with you can use your own provider, or you can go through a local company or a local doctor or therapist who does it. And they'll do remote, they'll do Zoom. So you don't even have to leave.
So the city of Waukee has somebody on?
No. This is we pay for one of the main people out there. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I apologize.
But your service does.
Yeah. The city pays for it.
And so, right. And so that's annually?
Annually. Yep.
That's just that you just call that a mental health check-in.
Yeah. And the mental health check-in it's mandatory, and you don't have to talk about anything. You can sit there and talk about football with the guy. He could determine at the end of the call that you are medically unfit. You should not be doing this job. City will never know. It is 100% for your wellness. It is not an evaluation from the city. The city gets nothing back except, yep, they showed up. That's it.
Listen, I'm going to ask some questions about that then.
Sure.
Let's say I have a problem.
Yep.
And that provider can uncover that shouldn't that information be relayed to somebody to say, hey, listen, this guy or gal is really kind of on the fence here a little bit. Maybe watch out for their well-being outside of this for the other 364 days.
So tell me how you feel when I tell you have to have a mental health check-in, and now your job could be in jeopardy if you have a problem. You're not going to want to go. You're going to be against it.
100%. I agree with that.
It's all buy-in, man. Like the goal of the provider then is to get them to come back and say, you need to talk to your bosses about this, and we'll
mean to come back inside the year annual checkup, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to self-start somebody from saying, yeah, okay.
There's more buy-in that way, right? If I tell you, if there's threat that you could have a problem, or you have a problem and you share it with this provider, and it's going to come back and it could affect your livelihood, how you pay for your diapers,
100%.
You're not going to be honest at all. You could not, right? You'd want to be protective of your family. That's your job, is take care of your family. So this is just the way we do it.
But I also want to know, as somebody that's going in beside you, that you're good.
Sure. Yeah.
Because my life might depend on that.
So the flip side of this is we can see when there's problems, right?
Okay.
You know your people. We should know our people.
And I'm not certainly saying we root these people out. Like
no.
I'm just saying
we see these people. We work with them every day. If there's really problems, we're probably already picking up on that, and we're recommending things because we can still on the side say, hey man, I think you need to go talk to somebody, or like I think something's going on. How can I help you? And here are the resources available to you, and how can we get you to that point?
Do you find, and that's an interesting thing, because even to this day, like with all the information we have out there about mental health and the longevity of our job, it's still a real awkward thing to go up to be like, hey, Tommy, man, you were real short with me. You good? Is everything cool?
Yeah.
You just feel like being a jerk today?
Yeah.
Or and then it might be easier for me to ask that question now, but it's certainly hard for you to look at me and go, God, Jason, I'm really glad you asked. I'm feeling a little sort of way right now.
Right.
And,
it's that man thing, right?
Right. And with my own little journey, like, I started going to Frontline therapy purely out of investigation.
Yeah.
Right. Like, have I had moments in my life where I'm like, man, I reacted to that way wrong. Like, that's probably not normal for a normal person. But guess what? We're not normal people. Like, we see shit before lunch and then go catch Jimmy John's on the way back. Like it was
it was nothing.
Right. And like most people would see one of those incidences. I'll use my dad as an example, right? When I responded to my dad's house after rumored he passed, I walked up the stairs and guess what I saw? I saw a dead body.
Yep.
Well, not the first one I've seen. I saw cops, I saw EMS, I saw people very familiar to me, like not phased at all.
Right.
Other than it was my dad. And I told my wife to stay home. She didn't need to be any part of this. And she shows up and she walks up the steps, and guess what's at the top of the steps? My dad. Right. And not a very presentable situation. Sticks with her like to this day, like can pull it back.
Oh yeah.
You and I have forgotten more than we've ever seen, right? Because it's a good quality to have.
Yeah.
But the point being is for them to say, you know what, that really bothers me, is way different than for us to say.
Right.
Because and so to get anything out of you, Tommy, man, are you good after that one? Yeah, man, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Are you? Like, how much do I have to keep pushing to say, are you? Because when I was going, and I've got nothing but good things to say about the summer. The gal that I talked to is Frontline Therapy. The gal that runs it, her husband is a Western Wing cop. But I think I was looking for something that wasn't there.
Sure.
Right. Like we are all a little different because of this job. We all do react sometimes. I don't necessarily think it's all indicative of some sort of quote, air quote problem,
Right.
but maybe a deficiency, right? Like, I don't really think my weight's a problem, but I could probably lose 5 or 10 pounds, right? So for me to react a certain way once in a while, maybe I'm just justifying my own shittiness. I don't really know.
Right.
But for us to react a certain way every once in a while is way different, much different than having some sort of consistent effect from this job on a daily, right? And do we do a good enough job in our profession of trying to uncover that from people? Because if I ask you, hey man, you good? What are you going to tell me?
Probably good.
I'm fine.
Yep.
Okay, what's fine mean?
But that's also that comes back to and plays into culture and who you work with and what your relationship is with people, right? I mean, like I can see some of our people when they're struggling with something, like, are you good? And they'll say, yeah. I'm like, no, really, like, what's going on? And they'll typically they can open up a little bit. Their crews will do the same thing. They'll see that and they can work through it with them. It's just trust. You got to build the trust. I
have heard nothing but good things about the culture that you guys have built here.
Well, that's great.
And let's talk about that for a second, because it's, and I'm not well traveled. You and I have been around a long time, but that doesn't mean I've been a lot of places. But we cast a pretty wide net. I don't know of any place that I've ever worked where the culture of the frontline worker, basically the bottom rung, has been cared for so much than what I've heard here. So where does that come from? How did you guys come about that? What is the catalyst for that?
So we're not perfect, right? There's certainly bumps in the road. It's not puppy dogs and rainbows here.
I get it. Yeah. Nowhere.
But man, I don't know where it came from, but I can tell you the fire chief's been here 30 years, so it's got to come a little bit from him, right?
Sure.
He's always put family first, and we do what's right. And the city manager has been here probably 18 or 20 years. He started as a planner. He's got the same mentality. Like, we just we talked about earlier, right? Take care of your people. Like, the people are your most important resource. Yes, you can replace anybody tomorrow. There's no question of that. But why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Why not invest in that? I'm investing time and money into you every day. How can I make this the place where you don't want to look outside? And if you want to look outside, great.
Sure. Yeah, there's other opportunities for everybody out there, right?
But what else is a little different, I think, is that we'll say, if you want to look outside, tell us. Like, how can I help you? If that's your goal, is to work for big city X, how can I help you get there? Like, what can I do to encourage you to get to that point? That's what I want, right? Because if I have somebody that's like, I just want to fly full time. That's what I want to do. I'm working my way there. Great. Yeah. How can I help you get there? Who can I put you in contact with? Because guess what they're going to do? They're going to be sitting with you at 3:00 in the morning, coming back from a flight at Knoxville, and you're going to ask them a question about, oh, how was Waukee? And they're going to be like, man, it was great. Like, all they did was support me and want me to succeed. So if that's what we do for all of our employees, part-time or full-time, that does nothing but show that we care, which we do. So. And
in turn, that gets, I hate to use the word product, but we are a product. Yeah. We always have been. We provide a service. We're a product. We're people buy our services, right, for their citizens.
Right.
But in return, with that attitude, you get a much better.
I think so.
I think so too.
The city has a long history of taking care of their employees. So the city, when I started, there was one union, and I'm not yay for unions. No.
Yeah, sure. We can. Yeah,
matter,
sure,
right?
Sure.
They had one union, and it was Public Works and a couple firefighters and the cops. They were all in one union together. So there was always it was
probably like Teamsters or something, because there was
actually like Communications Workers of America, I think is what it was. So it was like Central.
There wasn't a lot of unions back in the day available to choose from.
When there was a law that changed at some point, and they disbanded the union altogether. And the staff here said, you know what, I don't think we want to reunionize right now. We want to maybe plan for the future if there was things to change. But I think they sat back and thought that, what are the union going to get them? And if the city keeps treating them the way they do, like, really, if you think about what the purpose of a union is.
A lot of people think the purpose of a union is to protect bad workers, right? I used to get that a lot when I grew up, and it's not true at all.
No,
the union gives you a voice to negotiate your pay and benefits, to make sure that your working conditions are being met and that you can't be taken advantage of by the people that pay your salary.
So if the city says, here's all this information up front, there's no reason to negotiate, right? The city. So here's an example. The city, they decertified the union, and all the non-union like administrators, chiefs, and stuff like that were all getting a $500 stipend in their FSA.
Okay.
So what would most cities, in my opinion, most cities would be like, well, that's just the status quo. You're not an administrator, you don't get this. The city of Waukee turns around and says, all right, well, all full-time employees get this $500 FSA.
Yeah.
Like they just gave it to everybody. It was shocking. Nobody really knew what to do with it. Like it was, you got to be kidding me. You're just giving me this? Great. Another thing that the city has done recently over the last 3 years is a insurance holiday. So the city does so well with insurance in June, you just don't pay your premiums. Everybody.
Shut the front door.
Yep. No premiums. This is, I think, the third year in a row we did it. Yep.
So they just don't take it out of your paycheck. You get a little extra bump in your paycheck.
Yep.
Dude.
I'm telling you, this place is. We had line staff who they were getting. There was some concerns about their holiday time. Not concerns. They would get paid like time and a half or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it worked with holiday time. And they're like, I really don't want the overtime while I'm here on July 4th. I'd rather bank that time so that I can spend it with my family.
Like comp time.
Kind of, but it's holiday time.
Okay, either way. You probably got, how many time off banks do you guys have?
We have vacation, comp, sick, holiday, volunteer,
personal,
and I think there's a couple personal days too.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Which plays into the schedule. I'll tell you in a minute. But they went to the city manager through the right chain and said, "Hey, we'd like to do this. Here's what the outcome would be." And the city manager, it was the past city manager who was equally as great, said, "Well, that just makes sense. Done. Like now you have a bank of 80 hours every July. That so a new hire that starts July 1 starts with 80 hours of holiday time in a bank and 16 hours of personal time. So 4 days off."
But the trade-off is they're not getting time and a half while working that holiday?
No, they're getting time and a half. They used to get time and a half plus 8.
Plus.
Yeah, plus 8. They took the plus 8 away.
Gotcha.
Just banked it for when they want to use it.
Dude.
I know, it's awesome.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I don't know why it surprises me so much when people take ideas up the chain and the chain is like, yeah, that sounds, and I don't know, like, again, I come from a couple county services where the culture was, I remember one day, like I was, my first EMS job, I was making a little bit of money. It wasn't much, but I felt good, like at the time. And so I got a new pickup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
big
right.
Pickup probably, right? Everybody gets
No. It was just an F-150. It wasn't one of those.
That's still a big pickup.
Yeah, well, it was a full-size truck, for shit's sakes. It wasn't a Ranger. And I got me a little bug shield to put on it, and my wife and I had a single car attached garage, right? Small 1,200-foot ranch house. Yep. It was our first house. And I didn't have enough room in the garage so I took my pickup up to the county ambulance garage, pulled out one of the ambulances and pulled my truck in. And I didn't think twice about it, Tommy. Like I was like, who would ever bust? It was a Saturday. Right. Man, one of the old full-timers drove by and saw that and just whipped it in there and just ripped my ass and said, if one of the county supervisors ever saw me do this, that would probably be the end of my career there.
Wow.
And I was like, you're shitting me, right? Like I'm just borrowing a screwdriver and some shade.
Right.
And I'm just putting this little bug shield on my thing. And he was adamant that I get that right out of there. Right. And I'm like, okay, man. And then we did a big audit one day of, we had a consultant come into our service, right? You know, how to tell us how we can, supervisors, how we can save money and better be more efficient as employees, right?
Do more with less.
Right. Basically get more work out of me for less money. And I never saw the whole report, but there was we had some inefficiencies, right? One of it was our shift length was 36 hours on and 60 off, I think it was, or whatever. And how we could be more efficient as a service if we went to 24/48s and blah, blah, blah. Out of that whole report, do you know what they did? Tommy, you'll never guess this. They took the TV out of our office. And it wasn't even cable TV. It was an antenna TV.
Yeah.
Where I had to watch The Young and the Restless for some background noise if I was sitting in there not doing anything. And I remember coming to work as a young guy with some middle-aged men that were very content in their careers.
Yeah.
They were making good money and nobody bothered them. And I said, hey man, where's the TV? And they're like, we had to get rid of it. And I'm like, why? Well, they just don't want to sit around watching TV all day. I said, so they want me sitting around watching birds? I'm like,
What's the
I'm going to
difference?
sit around regardless.
Right.
Like, so what are we doing here? And so that kind of stuff, I come from that kind of culture where you're like, hey, I got a really good idea, and let's do this instead of this. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that here.
Yeah, that's kind of how our day room came around, right? One of the guys said, hey, how about we adopt more of a Google or Zappos style of workplace and not have office space. So that's why we did. Our day room is the kitchen, and it's where the kitchen table is, and it's where a couple desktops are and a couple laptops, and the idea is the crew spends their day in there and works, and they
open air. It's an uncomfortable thing.
Yeah, we don't, and from my point of view, I have to, and I personally have to understand that they're being productive or they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. I don't need to micromanage them. I don't want to. We talked about busy work earlier. I don't do busy work. I don't like I don't want you.
Have you always been that way? Like you've been in the game longer than I have. Like you come from a culture of older generation EMS providers.
Yeah, I don't,
because I'm not a fan. Not that I'm an administrator or ever will be, maybe, but I'm not a fan of that either. Like, I don't want to look busy for the sake of looking busy.
Yeah, I have no desire. If you're not accomplishing something,
yeah,
it's not worth.
I get not sitting around. I get bored just like anybody else. Sure. I'll be productive. I'll be a self starter. I'll do some stuff and stuff like that. But when I used to get our mutual friend, former dispatcher, my former lieutenant. I would get, and I love the guy, and I always have, always will. But I used to get so mad because at 5 o'clock, after a long day of looking busy,
yep, exactly,
I would go in the day room and be like, just kick it and watch. Yep. You could watch the news or whatever. And he'd come in and be like, "Hey, another ambulance just showed up. You want to help him wash it?" And I was like, "No, I didn't. Why would my reward for getting all my work done right now was this right here? Why do I want to go out and do somebody else's work for him?"
Right?
Was it right? No, but I was very. Man, I dug in on that deal. I was like,
that sounds right.
This is my house, man. And I took care of my house, and my housework is done. Like, this is my thing, right? Probably in the long term, I was wrong. But that point.
But if you didn't have to do busy work all day, like let's be
honest.
If you didn't have to do all this BS all day long,
yeah,
you'd probably be more. You'd have a better attitude.
Yeah, let's be honest with that. Like, and that's a good point too. Is like, there's hills to die on, man, and in our job, letting people just be is one of those hills I don't think that anybody should die on anymore. Like, I get it. Taxpayers pay our salary. 100% I understand it. But my first service that I worked for, when I actually did the math on that deal and figured out how much the community spent on my salary in my first EMS job, it was $10 a year. Okay? $10 a year. We blow that on nicotine and lottery tickets on a daily basis, right? Yeah. So to justify it that way, to be like, we really need you to pretend to be something you're not right now.
Right.
Even though at a moment's notice, their 12-year-old kid could get stung by a bee and their airway could close off, and you have the ability to turn that around. Man, we just can't have you watching The Young and Restless here. That just seems like a big waste of text.
Instead, you're going to find something on your computer to watch.
Right. So. Right. So the point of that whole thing is that I came in here today and you can immediately feel it. Of this place was built for the person that comes to work every day, the hourly wage worker that comes in, brings his lunch, has a family, wants to do good things, does good things, gets treated well. Like, this whole place seems like it was built around that.
I really hope so. I hope that's how they feel. I haven't heard any major complaints. I mean, they're firefighters, so there's always things, right?
Do you, when you work here, do you have to be a firefighter, paramedic, both?
No. Nope. Today we have technically two people who are paramedic only. I'll tell you, the paramedic onlys are out. They're getting their butts handed to them because they're at the other station, and they can't be out here yet just because we don't have the staffing model to support it yet. In a year, probably.
Explain that to me real quick. Like, why could you just can't run an ambulance crew out here by themselves?
So this is gonna get into a sticky wicket for me.
Don't. You don't have.
No, you're fine. We could. I'm not a big fan of two people being together in a station alone. It's not that I think things would happen, but I want to protect the families from any potential accusations, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm not a big fan of two people being alone in a station all the time. So we try to keep it at 3. And that 3 jumps back and forth between the ladder and the ambulance right now.
When all these people get through orientation, that's going to change, right? The population of this station is going to improve.
Yeah, our goal is to have a minimum of 5 at each station, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yes.
The other station is always at 5, never changes. This one is.
And technically, that would mean 3 on a fire apparatus and 2 on an ambulance.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
And then at that point, we would be able to support that paramedic only again.
Oh, sure.
Or honestly, we've even talked about doing some nurse exemptions for those, because we want to celebrate those nursing weeks that you love so much. So if we have a nurse on staff, we get to just celebrate that much more.
Man, I tell you what, I'm glad you said something. There's probably one today that
I'm sure you're probably right. We should be celebrating.
I'm saving all these. Like, I get these funny Instagram memes, you know, where and I'm saving them all for Nurses Week. It's great. There's one right, and this is probably my favorite. It's just a picture of this lady, and she's saying, you know, that she's a cardiac SI nurse, and that's pretty much top tier nursing. And then the next scene is the guy at McDonald's with his headset going, "Will you please just tell me your order?" Right? Or somebody flying into a fire scene and parking their car, and she jumps out and she goes, "Don't worry, I'm a nurse."
Yep. There's actually a whole. I just saw an Instagram thing the other day about there's this whole like following now. It almost looks like AI videos of a guy who.
It's got a lot of that's AI.
Oh my
stuff,
gosh,
yeah.
it's so funny because it's just nurses being like, "I'm a nurse. How can I help?" It's like, no, like this. You're a nurse in a school. Not diminishing nursing. Please don't take it that way. But like,
Yeah, no. We're not. This is all in fun. Like all the nurses that I work with, wonderful people.
Yeah,
I love them all. But that's why I get to banter the way I do. Right? Is because we have good relationships.
Right.
There's always been a nurse medic thing in our profession, right?
Yep.
Like anytime we would go to a hospital and drop somebody off, there was always that. I would hear this a lot in my early days. Like I never had this problem, or maybe if I did, I just didn't give a shit. You know, the nurse never really listened to me. All right, well then get better at your job. Like make her listen. Like do better. Right? Like personality is personality. Some of them. Yeah. There was one at she's retired now, but anytime I went to that place and I had to give it, I was like, this is awful. Like I do not want this job anymore, because she was mean. Yep. Right. And she was one of those that never listened, but it was a small part of my day. Right. Nobody cared. But there was always this nurse medic thing, you know, where always. And I think it's fun. On where I work, there's no difference between what we can do. I mean, they're obviously higher educated and much more skilled than myself, but we don't have anything that separates us in that aircraft. Right. Except for my personal thing, which is rectal temperatures. I don't. It's not my scope.
That's right. That's exactly right. Play the scope card.
Yeah, right. I can't do that anymore. I don't know what to tell you, lady. You're gonna have to do that yourself. And thank God we got rid of Tylenol suppository. That was another real awkward thing. We're sitting here at about an hour. I can't think, like, this is probably one of the best ones. I really appreciate you sitting down and taking the time, showing me the building. Yeah. Introducing us to your culture, why you guys do what you do. I kind of have a little bit of a maybe more sentimental, because we used to come over here and me and Dewey used to come over here and meet up with Clint sometimes. And I'll never forget, I'll share this one thing. One of my least favorite things to do when I was running ground EMS was transport people who suffered from ALS. Mm-hmm. It's a terrible, ugly disease. And the people that take care of these people at home at the end stages are remarkable people. Yeah. But we came over one day and Clinton was here. He will never remember this. And it's one of those things where out of all the things we've seen in our lives, this one sticks out. Mm-hmm. And it was a gentleman in his 40s with ALS, and he was at the end of it, right? And he was on a ventilator and contractured. And I will never forget how thankful I was to have the Waukee people here that knew the family. Mm-hmm. Clint knew the family.
Of course, he knows everybody.
Right. And he was able to, bridge the relationship between me, the transport person, and him, the responder. And the wife was taking care of the husband. And it was just one of those things. I think those things get lost in our job sometimes. The personal interactions, we're a small community, but we're getting bigger. We're real big. And I don't mean Adel and Waukee, I mean EMS. Yeah. When I ran calls in Dallas County, I loved when the deputy showed up, the Dallas County deputy. Like, you just get good relationship with people in Waukee. So I've really been kicking around. I think it's about time I get back in an ambulance, man.
Hey,
like, I'm real.
We'll look for your application.
Are you kidding me right now? Because is that a thing? Like, would I qualify?
Yeah, you qualify.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen, AI just updated my resume.
Oh, it's pretty sweet.
It's real good, and it's all true.
Let me tell you about resumes. They're just a piece of paper.
I know. But listen, do you guys use AI for, like, I use AI for a lot of stuff. Like, it's a big thing. Like, it can make me sound real smart. But I can't imagine, like, in city planning, when it comes to like response stuffs and stuff, so you can ask it to do so much, and it does it.
Talk about it from a reporting standpoint. What's coming next with our reporting software is you'll be able to click a button and say things like an 80-year-old male chest pain for 3 hours, blood pressure is 120/80, heart rate's this, and do those things, and it'll put it in all the boxes. It'll fill all the NEMSIS fields, and that could be this year. Yeah.
For real?
Yep.
Even with the software that you guys use, or are you talking like
that
this is a separate,
software.
like this is a separate?
I've done it. I've tested it. I've used it.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
I think people that know you may know this, but people that don't know how tech savvy you are.
I am. I do.
For an older fella.
Yeah. I mean, I'm losing it at this point. I mean, I've got readers now. I can't hear anything.
Sure.
So,
but for an older fella, you're pretty
tech
savvy.
They're out of the house. So.
This may not even be relevant, but how do you think that would play in, let's say, in litigation? Let's say we go to court for something. We have a poor outcome for whatever reason, just the way it went. But family is like, and you have generated a report using AI.
Right.
Do you anticipate any sort of, I'm not a lawyer, you're not a lawyer,
No.
There's no way to do it, but would that have anything?
So the feature that I'm talking about, where it populates the NEMSIS fields, I don't think it matters because it's literally the same thing as you typing stuff in.
Sure.
It's just using your voice. Today you can or you can voice to text your entire narrative in the software we use. So,
man, that's real good for guys like me that have kind of lost the ability to type well. Like, I don't know what it is, but man, I just the whole typing thing is,
it's lost on you.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can do it, but the amount of times I have to backspace is stupid.
I'm not far off some days, so
it's just dumb, and I don't understand it. Someday maybe we'll get those voice to text things.
It's once we get it, I'll let you know. It's pretty cool. I think we'll see it probably in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I don't know what's on the horizon for. We use EMS charts right now, which is the big deal around. As I figured out how to get the Zoll data to Bluetooth into it. And in our program, like, I'm the tech guy, and I have no business being the tech guy at all. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm 49 years old, and you guys are trusting me to figure out how to.
What software you use? EMS charts or Image Trend?
EMS charts.
Oh,
Zoll EMS charts. It's a mobile thing, and it's not a bad thing. It took me a long time to get used to it, but it's not a bad thing. I'm a big fan of. We had Zoll tablet.
Yep.
Back in the day, and I don't even remember. Oh, you remember WebCur was a thing back in the day. That was kind of terrible, but Zoll tablet was fine. But I also remember I come from an era where I used to handwrite charts.
Yep, I remember.
We're way ahead of that.
We are way ahead.
Thank God, because I don't. If you were to pull one of those from 20 years ago, I wouldn't be able to read it.
I wouldn't be able to either. I sit here scribbling stuff down. I like kind of get my glasses and look.
Yeah, and they gave you like 4 lines to write a trauma report. And you're like, what is this garbage? Like, I can't. I used to take stacks of those carbon copied. Do you remember they were the white?
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Let's wrap it up. What else you got? Anything that you want people to know about the city of Waukee?
Yeah, I'd like to touch back on the busyness thing. Right,
yeah.
People are self-starters. And we say here, and I would be remiss, our people would be very disappointed if they didn't hear me say this. I say all the time that every day is a job interview. The day that the promotion comes out, your interview's pretty much over, right? We know who you are. I've had part-time people before that have applied for full-time, and the day that the application comes out for full-time, they're out there washing Chief's car and doing all this extra stuff. It's like everybody sees that, right? It's who you are and what do you do every single day. It's an integrity thing for us, right? Yeah. We want to hire the right people, especially we want to hire the right people. Hiring a full-time person that is toxic is a 30-year problem. It's hard to get rid of a full-time employee that's toxic. Yeah. So we're very cautious in how we hire.
I've said this for a long time too. Even when I was in West Des Moines, everybody knows that to get a foot in the door, to get a full-time job, you usually start part-time somewhere.
Yep.
It would be totally unreasonable at some places for you to come in as not known to your department or service and get a full-time job over somebody who's been putting in the work part-time. So I said that all the time. The other thing I will also say too, two things. High achievers seem to congregate around other high achievers. So if you are constantly hiring these people, you are only going to get those people interested in coming here, right? Because everybody wants to be pushed. I come from an era where you just wanted to be left alone, right? Like you just want to go, like everybody had pot bellies. Right? We don't want to be bothered.
Right.
Like I don't want to go in. I want to watch My Young and the Restless, and I want to sit in that office chair. And then at 5 o'clock, I want to go home.
Right.
And I don't want to have done anything.
Correct.
To now, you get into places where they're like, I don't wish an emergency on anybody.
No.
But man, I'm itching to do my job, and I'm going to do it good, and I want to go out and help somebody, and I want to go do good things. And if I'm not doing it, I want to get better at doing it. I want to make myself a better version, right?
By doing those things, your crew actually gets closer together. Like you can feel the camaraderie.
If I'm sitting around the office and I'm reading about the ventilator, or I'm watching a YouTube video on a ventilator, somebody next to me might be going, shit, man, I might need to brush up on the ventilator too. And to hear me say, I'm not the poster child for that kind of stuff. I'm just saying it is noticeable.
Yeah.
And there are times when maybe you should be thumbing through that protocol book. The other thing I'll say to that point is when you go to other services or when you go to hospitals, and I'm gonna pass this along to the younger people, the younger generation.
There's a lot of those.
You come to our aircraft program and do a ride along. Okay. Nobody seems to understand that they might be talking to somebody who knows a lot of people and who's been around a long time.
Every day is a job interview.
Every day is a job interview, even if it's not directly with that department.
Correct.
Right. So how many times do you get people that show up and do a ride along or they do something and they're just all of a sudden they're like verbal diarrhea of something, and you're like, I don't know if this is what you want to do, because they just assume because I don't work for Waukee Fire Department that maybe I don't know anybody in Waukee, and they can just go ahead and I'm not saying this has happened. No. But it has. We all know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Correct.
Right. And in our job, we all look out for. I don't want you getting somebody on your department that is like, this is not a good fit. Right. But if you have 4 part-time jobs, and at some point you're looking for a full-time one.
Right.
The things you say around people that aren't affiliated with that department that you want to apply for, probably know somebody who knows somebody. So just keep, for the young people, keep that in mind.
Every day. It doesn't matter where you are. If somebody's riding with the aircraft one day that's applying here, and I find out they rode, I'll reach out at some point and ask, like, how did they do? I'm interested.
We are, and this is something that was lost on me. Okay. I really wish, if I had to go back and do anything different in my career, it would be, I would take those calls that I didn't think were important calls.
Yep.
And I wouldn't have acted like it wasn't my problem, right? Because people call us to solve problems.
Literally our job.
Right. And it doesn't matter what that problem is. It may not be an airway issue.
Right.
It may be just I don't know what to do in this situation.
We had to help somebody find pills the other night because the power was out.
Correct. And so it's easy. And
sorry, I would rephrase that. We got to.
Yeah, right. I understand. And this was a big problem for me. I may have viewed that earlier in my career as an inconvenience. Mm-hmm. What are you calling us for?
Right.
You have a fever. Like, that's not a thing, right? I wish I would reframe that to, all right, you've called us for a reason.
Yep.
You clearly have a problem that you can't manage on your own. You've called us to help you. What can I do to help you? Right? Like, and you see that even when you take people to the hospital. Like, you may be somewhere and somebody goes, and I've had this happen, I totally don't remember the situation.
Right.
But apparently I was nice to somebody.
Oh,
weird. I was like, yeah.
Shocking.
In a 20-year career, I managed to be nice to somebody. Right. And several months down the road, they got to the point, they're like, I remember you from this and that, and you took the time to tell me something.
Yep.
And I was like, well, listen, I don't remember that, but I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad I wasn't a jerk.
Right? Exactly.
We are very much a customer service industry. I could not get that out of my head. I was like, no, I'm here to do some cool stuff, lady. Like,
right.
What, we're very much a customer service, customer oriented person.
Yeah.
So your citizens are the customers. I provide a service.
Yep.
What can I do to help you?
Yep.
And I think that's the other thing that gets lost sometimes in what we do is the shoulders go down when those tones drop at dinner time, and you're like, what does this person want?
Right.
How can I help?
It's a different mindset. And, you talked earlier about hiring people that were, had experience stuff like that. That is not the world we live in today. I know.
You don't think so?
No, God, no. I hired, or I didn't hire, a neighboring department hired a kid that I know from my church. He graduated high school in May. He has EMT. He got a full-time job.
As an EMT? There's services that hire full-time EMTs?
Yeah, Ankeny will.
For real?
Yep. And they put him through the academy and then put him right through an advanced paramedic program.
They have to be firefighter too, though, right? So he would be a firefighter
They
too?
do they'll do an academy to get them the fire certification. State of Iowa has no requirements for fire. That's an agency specific thing.
Sure. But my point being is, like, usually when like somebody right out of high school goes, into the fire service, like that's a good, like back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, right. Like that was a trade.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Right. So to be an 18-year-old firefighter for a service that would put you all the way through that kind of stuff is a really, really good gig.
Yeah.
The frame of the way I sounded so surprised was, wait a minute, he's an EMT, got a full-time job? Like, we could never get full-time jobs as EMTs.
Yep.
Right.
Now it's all everybody's doing their own academy and they're trying to just get people certified. It's easier to teach them their way of doing things. So.
But why do you think that is? Like, I'm out of touch with ground transport services because I haven't done it.
There's not enough qualified people good people, right? So if you're looking at we call them, when we hire, we look at capacity, character, capability. I wrote them down. Character, competency, compatibility, and capacity, right? Your competency is the one thing that I can impact. I can't impact anything else, right?
Yeah.
You have your own character. I need to make sure that fits in with my crews. That's really all I care about. I can teach you everything you need to know about being a firefighter.
How do you pick up on that in a short, like, let's go through your hiring process.
All right.
I know we were going to wrap this up a little bit
No,
ago,
you're fine.
but
I booked the entire day for you, Jason.
I feel special.
Yeah. Our hiring process is we use the consortium, which is a bunch of neighboring cities. We do the typical written test that you can take at any point in time. And then you do a physical ability evaluation. If you're applying for paramedic only, typically we offer that after the job offer, and it's a modified physical ability evaluation that's based on the actual job.
That's a good question. I meant to ask, do you have any physical ability standards?
Yes.
That you have to maintain throughout your career?
So technically, in our job descriptions, you have to be able to pass the PAE, which is a physical ability evaluation, every year. We just don't test on it. We have an internal one that we do yearly, and it's totally anonymous, except for a couple chiefs that may know about it. And that data is used to encourage you to do better. And if you take longer than what it's supposed to be, we help you get to that plan to do better.
Do you mandate at any point during your shift physical activity?
Nope.
It's just something that's
strongly recommended. We document every time we do it, just for the purposes of we can use it for ISO ratings and because we want to know if somebody worked out and then added a cardiac event. So,
sure. Do you have
the fire chief works out every day, so he's definitely leads by example.
And I would imagine that just trickles down. Like, probably everybody has some sort of, whether it's together or they're separate thing. They probably most people.
Yeah, I would say most people.
Yeah, have their own thing. All right, so written test, physical ability test.
Then we invite people to an interview panel. Then the interview panel is, have you sat through an interview panel for a city before where everybody just sits there cold-faced and you can't get a reaction out of anybody?
City of West Des Moines, but that's been...
Yeah. So
2008.
We take a different approach where we basically start cracking jokes at the beginning, or we try to ask an off-the-wall question to try to break the ice, and really just get people to open up. So like, how many ping pong balls fit in a bus, or if you go anywhere in the world, where'd you go and why? Or if you were trapped on a desert island and deserted island and all of your human needs were met, what 2 items would you bring with you and why? And they'll say, I'd bring my Kindle. And I'd say, how are you going to charge it? And then we just challenge them a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
And see the banter, right? We're trying to create a little bit of banter at the beginning to see how they react to that. And then we get into the more deep questions about like life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, sure.
That's great.
How would you handle conflict resolution in your workplace?
We don't know. I punch somebody. All right.
I'm stupid. Move on with my day. But what do you want?
So we've tried to modify our interview, and it's 20 minutes, right? And then we've been very fortunate. We hire a lot of part-time people to full-time.
Yeah.
Because we've already,
and naturally
we've had a chance to truly see who they are.
Yeah.
So when we hire full-time people that we don't know, we typically invite them back for like an 8 or 10 hour ride time with a cruise, and let the crews really evaluate them and see, like, realistically, does what they say they can do, is their skill level likely what they say it is, and how do they fit in?
Yeah.
Or do they just not fit? I tell kids, we have riders here all the time they're 18, 19 years old that want to get in the job, and we tell them always, like, this is your opportunity. There's not enough people to do the job. So you should be out interviewing all these departments to see where you fit and what you like the most.
Yeah.
So
how do you feel about, this is just a personal question.
Yeah.
EMT basic, they get their education EMT basic, they go right into being they go right into paramedic school.
So that's what I did. I did have some life experience ahead of time. That's what my son did for the most part. I think that if you can, the best option is to wait a year or two. Yeah. Get some life experience and some actual, like, an idea of what's going on in the world before you actually have to treat people advanced.
Yeah.
So
No, I think so too. I was an EMT for 2 years before I became a paramedic, and I worked as an EMT while I was going through paramedic school.
Right.
And I worked for a county service where you're out there in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And for whatever reason, our culture like snubs interfacility transfers. Like, everybody hates them.
Right.
And everybody back in my day just wanted to work for a 911 service. We just wanted to run 911 calls, right? And I get it.
But then complain about 911 call 3 o'clock.
But not being serious enough. And then this is the one downside to what I thought our education was. They spend all this time teaching us how to, like, reverse anaphylaxis, right? Drilled it in our head. And then we go work for these county services, and we do a couple BLS transports, and we do a couple lift assists, and then all of a sudden, a year later or 2 years later, somebody hands you a dead baby, and you're like, "What am I doing here?" Right? And then, because training sucks, or you're or whatever, like, the call doesn't go well, right? And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Well, you screwed that up,"
right?
And you're like, that's the biggest hole in our profession, I think. Which is why I say you take these 18, 19-year-old kids, which they are now, and they go get their EMTB. They've never bagged anybody with a beard with a bag valve mask.
Right.
But all of a sudden, the next day, they're paramedics, and they got somebody choking on a piece of chicken, and his face is blue. And they're like, what? Right. And families in the background yelling, screaming. There's hysteria that we cannot simulate in anywhere.
Nowhere.
So, right. And it's 100 degrees outside, and the person's air conditioning broke.
Right.
Like, and I understand that you can't plan for every contingency in training. We're limited.
Right.
But man, if you don't get to see that out in the real world first, and then all of a sudden that's like my first, and I've said this before, my first code as a paramedic was a SIDS kid, man.
Yeah.
What? I walked in and I thought that baby was a mannequin. I thought this was a test at 5 a.m, 9 miles from my station.
Lord.
Where I had to get up out of bed, go to my station, get the ambulance, drive 9 miles to this kid who was laying on the hardwood floor, looked like a mannequin.
Yeah.
And I thought I was getting punked. I thought this was a training thing.
Wow.
Until I heard mom scream.
Yeah, I bet.
And I was like, oh.
I bet you still hear that scream too.
Yeah, I do, actually. It's funny that you say that. My bugaboo is just sudden loud noises.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and when my kids scream innocently, whether they've skinned their knee or they saw a spider or whatever, I jump 100 feet. Like, I can't do this. And I instantly, viscerally react to them in a negative way.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that day.
Yep.
And that day was 20 years ago.
Sure.
Right. And I'm open with that. Like, I have I can't fix it.
But if they know that, then they know it's nothing negative about them.
Yeah. Like, my kid will often scream sometime, and I will viscerally react in a negative way. And the point of that is, when you're 18 or 19 years old, I think that's hard to process.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I think it's hard to be successful in that, because you have to be, in that moment, the best you've ever been.
Right.
Right. And I think it's unfair sometimes that we ask people, these young kids, to go and do these things out there by themselves, and to do it to the T, because guess what happens if you're in a hospital and a doctor, for whatever reason, doctors practice medicine, right?
Right.
And so when they have a poor outcome, it's it just didn't work, or whatever. Like there's no repercussion.
Right.
If you and I go on a call right now, 7 miles north of here, and we have a poor outcome, what is it? What'd you guys do wrong? Right.
I guess it depends on who your management is.
Sure.
Right.
Well, why didn't you give the Solumedrol? Why didn't you give another dose of Epi? Like why, or whatever. We're hard on ourselves, or 100%. We're hard on each other, I think, sometimes, depending on your culture, because the expectations are so high.
Right.
Right. Like there is never such thing as we'd like to think there's never a such thing as a poor outcome.
Right.
Happens all the time.
Right.
Do you gotta?
No, it's just a police chief. He can come over here if you want something.
Oh, that's. Ooh. Well, we can wrap it up.
No, you're fine.
But I think that's why giving yourself a little time as an EMT, if you get the right paramedic partner and you learn how to like feel that guy's face up against the mask and bag him and not bag him 1,000 times a minute, right? And actually be. And I've said this a long time into like we all know what to do once we get the patient intubated. Mm-hmm. The good ones separate themselves because they know what to do when they can't.
Right.
And
that's plan B, C, D, and E.
Right. That's the bigger thing. Like what happens if this thing is going off the rails?
Yep.
Can I get it back? And I just worry that some of not all of them, this is just me being my age and where I'm at in my career now. If they can get that, like if they can figure out that this isn't going well, we need to figure out how to get it pointed north again.
And if they're in an environment that doesn't help them, right? If the initial reaction to them making a mistake is punishment,
yes.
What does that do in the future, right? And that leads into kind of something that we've changed over the last few years, where have you ever heard of Just Culture or Culture Code, the book?
No, but I'm interested in books.
Okay, so Culture Code is a book about essentially just culture, and just culture is why are the mistakes being made that we're making, and how do we fix them? So if you make a human mistake, we're humans. We make mistakes. So let's diagram that out and see, was it a problem? Was it a system problem? Did we as the system fail to do something right or provide something? Was it an education problem, or was it malicious? Right? If it's malicious, then we deal with that with paperwork, right? You're disciplined at that point, or you have corrective action, or you're coached. But a good example of one time we used to do, anytime you scratched dented a truck, you were written up.
Yeah,
that was guaranteed. Like,
that's a good. I remember those days. Yeah,
and it was almost to the point where it's like, yeah, I'll get your paper for you. We had a guy that we recently hired within the last few weeks, last few months, who hit the garage door at Mercy, and he hit an Ankeny ambulance in the garage at Mercy.
Yeah.
Because when they designed the garage, it was definitely somebody intelligent who knew these giant ambulances were coming in.
They made the same ambulance garage just in the other direction.
Yep. Exactly.
From what it used to be.
So we, it used to be back in the day we would deal with that. Another good example is a better example probably is we had a kid, he was 18, 19 years old, and changed lanes and hit a car. Didn't even know he hit it. Like just scratched it. Didn't even know it.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
After we talked through it, we sent it through this Just Culture committee, and they said, you know what the problem is? The problem is the mirrors in this truck suck. Like you can't easily see out the mirrors without like contorting your body to see your blind spot. So we changed mirrors. Like it was that easy to prevent.
For real.
To prevent the problem in the future, we changed mirrors, educated him, but we didn't discipline. There's a reason to discipline. It was a system problem. So Culture Code looks at it's called Swiss cheese. And I wish Tony Clement was here. He's our division chief of training and EMS. And I think he may have got this from a chief locally, but Culture Code is where it comes from, and it talks about basically the Swiss cheese effect. And he used to be so much better at explaining this, where there's so many problems that the incident slips through the cheese because it's stacked perfectly, right? Things like air traffic control problems or surgery problems, and that's what the book Culture Code kind of talks about, is all of these problems where we deal with it in one way, but it's just human error.
I've been a part of services before where one person makes an error, the whole department suffers.
Oh yeah, policy,
right?
Like you own your name's on the policy, right?
Right. Yeah. It's like one person screwed up and gave something, and some of that might be for the best,
sure,
right? Like maybe it uncovered some sort of safety concern or whatever. But I'm talking like just general like procedural stuff.
Yeah.
Like if the shotgun effect. instead of that one person being remediated, the whole department gets the same
Yep.
email, and it makes the whole department feel like, well,
Yep.
what am I getting this email for when it was this problem? If I do that, then come to me and tell me that I'm doing it wrong. But now all of a sudden I have to, and I won't use me, but let's say your high achievers and good ones have to be like, well, now I can't do that because this person who's the same level, they can't figure it out. So now I have to change.
Instead of just dealing with the problem and treating people like good humans and expecting that they can make a change. Like,
sure.
Sorry, man, Jason, you screwed up. You backed into a truck.
Yeah.
Don't do it again.
Man, I tell you what.
Instead, I'm gonna have a policy that says you must do X every time you park the truck.
Yeah, for the whole department.
For everybody.
Everybody's now got to have a spotter.
Yep. Exactly.
Man, those truck things, I forget about those. It's been so long.
Yeah.
It's funny. I tell you one quick funny story. When dual response, me and Raleigh Benz came over here. He was my EMT basic partner, and he was fairly new. And I think you guys just got a new ambulance. Waukee did. And we were at the church down there. I will never say the name of it, but over there by the high school, Waukee Old School. There's a church over there on the west side of the road, south of the 5-way.
Oh, it's St. Boniface.
Okay, great. We went there on one Sunday morning. Your Waukee ambulance was parked perpendicular to the parking of the congregation, and we were coming around the corner. And we were trying to get our ambulance past yours, and I was in the passenger seat, and I looked out and I said, "Well, shit, Raleigh, you got a mile." And all of a sudden, our side mirror just scraped down the whole side of your ambulance. And I was like, "Oh, listen, man, I was a little wrong on that deal." I don't ever know what came of that, but Raleigh Benz will tell that story to this day, and we'll laugh hysterically of it. And I don't know whatever. I think we said, "Hey, sorry," but we took the patient and had to go because you guys were transporting at the time. So I don't know whatever came of that. But you always forget about those little dents and dings and stuff. Yep. We had our fair share back in the day. It's part of the job. Sure. I think it's incidental stuff. It happens.
Right.
It's amazing how it never seems to happen to our personal vehicles, though.
I know.
If I had that many mishaps with my personal vehicle, I think my insurance would be through the roof.
It would be.
But for whatever reason on the job, it's perfectly fine.
Let's just say it's because we're tired or we're driving giant ambulances or...
Yeah, and listen, again, it's on your department to navigate that, right? Like we didn't learn your EVOC training is not part of your curriculum.
Yeah, it's part of ours, but yeah.
Well, your station.
Yeah.
But not part of the national curriculum.
No.
Well, I didn't know. Like the first time I ever got I was in an ambulance.
And there are some departments that are like, oh, here's your key card to get in the building, and here's the keys to the ambulance.
Yeah.
Call now.
Yeah, and here's the key to the morphine.
Right.
So anyway, good luck, man. Right? Like that's how I learned trial by fire too. Yeah. Like there was nothing. And then you get into the better funded services and whatever that put on the emergency driving courses and stuff like that. You get a little more savvy. Right. But man, no, we just learned by going 80 miles an hour down the county road, man.
To everything. Everything. It didn't matter, right?
No, it didn't matter. I remember when they used to get so mad at me. My first job is I would go lights and sirens through town to any call.
Yeah.
And they would get so mad at me about why you're doing that. And I'd be like, well, I'm advertising. Like, man, they need to know that we're out here doing stuff.
Right.
If it just looks like we're driving down through town.
Right, looks like we're going to the store again.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to get there in a super way. I'm just trying to let people know that you guys got an ambulance service here and we're out doing some good stuff.
I'm sure they really appreciate it.
Oh, they hated it. They hated it. I realized as I got older, they weren't as dumb as I thought they were. And I hope vice versa. I hope at the same time they looked back at our career when I worked there and said, yeah, maybe he had a couple good points there, but for the most part, real service is real service. But all right, man, let's wrap it up. I can't thank you enough. This has been great catching. Number one, it's been great catching up. It's been too long since we've seen each other. Not that you care, or that you do care about this. You don't care about my personal opinion, but you've done this. Everybody talks very highly of you and what you're doing here and the culture that you've built. Not one negative thing.
It is not me, though.
And sure, the history of it, of you guys, your community, your city.
I'm a cog in the wheel, man.
I think personally, I think you guys are the new, the new thing, the new the place to be, the place to work. I see it when your people bring patients into where I work. You can see it.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that.
Never a sour look, never an inconvenience thing. They all do good work.
Good.
So thanks for that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. Work hard. Be kind.
Hey guys, thanks again for listening to another episode of the Shift Change Podcast. I need to ask if you would leave a rating. I think that it helps people who are new to the podcast find it quicker. It doesn't do me any good, but it does help other people that are looking for the Shift Change Podcast on Spotify or Apple. It just comes up quicker the more ratings that you give it. I don't, whether you give it a 2 or a 5, it doesn't make a difference. It just helps other people. If you need to get a hold of me, contact me via my email, the show email, which is talkshiftchange@gmail.com. Or you can message me on Instagram at talk.shiftchange. Excuse me, at talk.shiftchange on Instagram. As always, thanks for listening. I could not have imagined how well this podcast has been received. So, as always, I appreciate it. Work hard, be kind.